Good evening, children. Today's class is a revisional class. Sentences simple, compound, and complex. This topic is new for this class, so I have picked it first for the revision. Sentence simple, compound, and complex. They mean the meaning of these words is hidden in their name as they sound simple sentence. Simple sentence means having single subject and single verb, means they are simple in their meaning. Same as compound, having a coordination with its all clauses. Complex, complex means dependency on each other. These as many clauses will be there, they all will be dependent on each other in some ways. Okay, first I proceed with all these topics simple, compound, and complex. Let's discuss clauses first. Once the concept of clauses is clear to you, then there will be no confusion in understanding the simple sentences, compound sentence, and complex sentence. Fine. So let's study the clauses first. So, what is a clause, children? Okay, a group of words that has a subject and a finite verb is called a clause. A clause makes complete sense by itself. Doesn't this definition sounds quite familiar? Is it not the same definition that we have in a sentence? Sorry. Means it means that a sentence and a clause are quite similar to each other. A sentence also has a subject and a verb. A clause also has a subject and a verb. A sentence also make complete sense. A clause also make complete sense. Then what is the difference between them? Children, a clause can be called a sentence, but all the sentences cannot be called clause. Why? Because a clause means having only one subject and one finite verb, while in a sentence there could be many finite verbs. It means that a sentence could be made by adding many clauses. By putting many clauses together, we make long sentences. And as these clauses help in the formation of long sentences, according to that only we decide that a sentence is a simple sentence or a compound sentence or a complex sentence. It means that the number of clauses and the type of clauses in a sentence decide that whether a sentence is a simple sentence or a compound sentence or a complex sentence. So, I hope it must be clear to you all that what is a clause? A clause is a group of words that has a subject and a finite verb, and it must make a complete sense also. Here I have an example. Rohit loves playing football. What is the subject in this? Rohit. And what is verb? Loves. Okay, here I am talking about finite verb, not non-finite. नहीं, non-finite की बात नहीं हो रही है. Here we are talking about the finite verb. Rohit loves playing football. This group of words have a subject. It also has a verb and it is complete in sense also. So we can call it a clause and we can also call it a sentence. Okay? Now, children, the clauses are of two types. Main clauses or independent clauses, or subordinate clauses or dependent clauses. Means independent clauses and dependent clauses. These are the two types of different clauses. dependent and independent. Independent clauses are also called main clause or coordinate clauses. And dependent clauses are also known as subordinate clauses. Clear? So don't get confused with their name. Right now, learn these terminologies because I'm going to use these words, independent clauses and dependent clauses, or the coordinate clauses or subordinate clauses again and again. Once again, I repeat, independent clauses are also called coordinate clauses, and dependent clauses are also known as subordinate clauses. Now, let's understand what are these clauses. Independent clause. Independent clause means the clause that is complete in its meaning and can stand alone, means it doesn't need the help of any other clause to clear its sense. While the dependent clause, as the name reflects its meaning, dependent means depending on another clause for its meaning. Means alone it can't make sense. It needs the help of another clause to clear out its sense. Okay, so such clauses are known as dependent clause or subordinate clause. Let's find out what are the clauses in this. Please pay attention to what the teacher says. To what the teacher says, we are finding out the dependent and independent clauses. Okay? Because if a sentence has more than one clause, so if both the clauses are independent, then that will be compound sentence. And if one of them is dependent and the other is independent, then that will be a complex sentence. We study it slowly, but let's find out, let's learn how to identify these independent and dependent clause. Children, here please pay attention. This is an imperative sentence. Okay, we can also call it imperative clause. So this is an imperative sentence. Please pay attention. Then it is written, to what the teacher says. This sentence has two finite verbs, pay, and the second is says. And the subject is the teacher of the second finite verb, because the first clause is an imperative. Cleared? Now, to what the teacher says. This clause, to what, this to what, as it is beginning with to what, is giving an intention that something more is there to know. Miss, it needs the help of some more information to clear its meaning. To what? This to what is telling that yes, something is left to know. And that is why this clause, to what the teacher says, is a dependent clause. And what is my main clause? Please pay attention. This is my main clause. Okay? Now the second is, I will attend to you. This is the first clause, when I am free. This is second clause. Let's find out what is dependent and what is independent. I will attend to you. This is my main clause. When I am free. This is dependent clause. It is depending on the first clause for its meaning. Because this when is telling that yes, something is missing. Something more is lying behind it. When. Okay. So this is my dependent clause, when I am free. The next sentence is, they never fail who die for a noble cause. Who die for a noble cause. It is beginning with the word who. And this who is telling that yes, it is having a connection with some more information. It is following some more words, some more information. And that is why this is a dependent clause, and it is depending on they never fail. So this they never fail is my independent clause. Clear? It is my main clause. Next is people who eat much fall sick. Here, my first clause is people who eat much fall sick. Fall sick is your main clause here, and people who eat much is my dependent clause. Clear? Now, let's discuss the simple, compound, and complex sentence. So, this clause is clear to everybody? Because without understanding a clause and its type, you won't be able to understand the type of sentences. Cleared? Now, what is a simple sentence? Children, a simple sentence which has one subject and one finite verb is called a simple sentence. Such sentence can be called an independent clause or coordinate clause. In a simple manner, a clause, I'm talking about a single clause. A single clause is your simple sentence. Means a simple sentence only has one clause. It has one subject and one finite verb. A sentence having only one clause is a simple sentence. An old man sat under a tree. Let's find out the number of clauses, or whether you can say that let's find out the number of subject and the finite verb in a sentence. If more than one finite verb are present, it means that it is not a simple sentence. An old man is my subject in this sentence, and sat is the verb, finite verb. Keep remember, ma'am is talking about the finite verb, helping verb. Okay, the auxiliary verb I am talking about. So, sat is my verb. The sentence has only one verb and one subject. So, it is a simple sentence. The next is, I was pleased to learn of your promotion. What is my subject in this? I. And what is my finite verb? Was. Is there any other finite verb in the sentence? Search out. Pleased is non-finite verb. To learn again is non-finite verb. So, as it is having only one subject and one finite verb, so it is a simple sentence. If you are still confused with finite and non-finite, so go back and see the modules of finite and non-finite verb. Non-finite verb we have studied in term 1. So I better suggest you to once watch that module and clear out the concept of finite and non-finite verb and then re-study this topic. Next sentence is, you must give up fast food to lose weight. Find out the subject in this sentence. You. You is your subject. And what is your verb? Must. Must is a model, isn't it? And models are also auxiliary verb. They also work as auxiliary verb. So you must. Is there any other finite verb? Give up is non-finite. To lose is again non-finite. So this is a simple sentence as it is having one subject and one finite verb. Look at the fourth sentence. In spite of having a poor health, she is always cheerful. Here in the sentence, she is my subject and is my finite verb. Having is your non-finite verb. It is the participle form of verb. Okay, so again the sentence is having a single subject, single verb. So it is a simple sentence. Once again, a single clause, one clause is your simple sentence. Okay, and I can also call it independent clause also, because independent clause also has only one subject, one is single here. It is single. Okay. Now, compound sentence. Simple sentence has one clause Compound sentences have more than one clauses. Means a sentence made up of two or more independent clauses or coordinated clauses is called a compound sentence. In the simplest manner, compound sentence has more than one clauses, and both the clauses must be independent clauses. If any of them is dependent तो वो आपका compound नहीं है. And as the sentence is going to have more than two clauses, so you need a connector also. Then also you would be able to join those clauses. So as a connector, what do we use in English, in language? Conjunctions. So I need a conjunction to join these clauses. So the conjunctions that are used joining the clauses in compound sentences are always coordinating conjunction. Means coordinating conjunctions joined coordinating clauses in compound sentences. Okay? Clear to you all? Now, Sudha went home and she took rest. Find out the number of clauses. If it is single, तो तो simple sentence है. But if it has more than one clauses, then only it is a compound sentence, and the both clauses must be independent clauses, your coordinate clauses. Sudha went home. This is my first independent clause because it is complete in its meaning. The second is she took rest. This is also independent clause. It is complete its meaning, and they both clauses, both the independent clauses are joined with a conjunction and this and is a coordinating conjunction, because when you have studied conjunction, there we have studied two types of conjunctions, subordinating and coordinating. Coordinating helps in joining the independent clauses. This definition was clear to you in that class. So this is a compound sentence. The second is he is a Japanese by birth. This is my first clause, independent clause. But he speaks Hindi fluently. He speaks Hindi fluently. This is also a coordinate clause, independent clause, and two independent clauses are joined by the conjunction but. So it is a compound sentence. Respect others or others will not respect you. What is my first clause in this? Respect others. Complete in its meaning. It doesn't need the help of any other word or phrase or clause. So it is a independent clause. The second independent clause is others will not respect you. And as two independent clauses are used in the sentence, so it is a compound sentence. Next is he will study biology for he wants to become a doctor. So he will study biology. This is an independent clause. The second is he wants to become a doctor. Complete its meaning. This is also an independent clause. So as they both are independent clauses, coordinate clauses, so the sentence is a compound sentence. So I hope it must be understood to you all that what are compound sentences. This simple compound complex is only the matter of clauses, means the number of clauses present in a sentence. If single clause is there, so it is simple sentence. If more than one clauses are there, so whether it is a compound sentence or a complex sentence. If both the clauses are independent clauses, so it is a compound sentence. Now let's study what is complex sentence. What is a complex sentence? So a sentence made up of an independent clauses and one or more dependent clauses is called a complex sentence. Means a subordinate clause is joined to coordinate clause by a subordinating conjunction. Now, complex sentence. Complex sentences also have more than one clauses. But in this, one clause will be independent and the others will be dependent on that. Means a complex sentence has only one main clause and the other clauses, that could be more than one. The other clauses will be dependent clauses. Means a sentence in which the number of clauses is more than one and one of them is main clause, independent clause, and the others are dependent clause is known as complex sentence. And as there are many clauses, more than one clauses, so you need the conjunction to join them. And the conjunctions that are used joining the clauses in complex sentences are subordinating conjunctions. They are subordinating conjunctions. Clear to you all? Now, Priyanka ordered lunch for me because I am feeling hungry. Here, what is my main clause? Priyanka ordered lunch for me, and this is my main clause. And because I am feeling hungry, this because word is clearing out a reason behind the second clause. So this reason is giving an intention that yes, it is a dependent clause depending on the main clause. So this is a complex sentence. Let me know if you need any help. Let me know is my main clause. And if you need any help, this is my subordinate clause, dependent clause. Because if is showing a condition of what? Okay, so this if is telling that it is a dependent clause. And as one is independent, the other is dependent, so it is a complex sentence. Third is, when I heard this news, I rushed to the place. What is my main clause in this? I rushed to the place. Okay, and the when I heard this news, this is my dependent clause. Children, you can notice one more thing. All the dependent clauses are beginning with a subordinating conjunction. Because, if, when. Now look at the next sentence. Although she was not fully qualified, she got the job. Now here the first clause, although she was not fully qualified, is beginning with a subordinating conjunction. Beginning with a conjunction. So this is my dependent clause and the main clause is she got the job. So one dependent, one independent means it is a complex sentence. Clear to everybody? So one more manner is to, there is one more way to identify the difference between a compound and a complex sentence is you need to cram what are coordinating and what are subordinating conjunctions. Children, coordinating conjunctions are easy to learn because they are countable, like but, and, yet, for. These are some coordinating conjunctions. Okay, so or is your coordinating conjunction. So if you learn that these are coordinating conjunctions, so by looking at the conjunction also you can understand easily that whether the sentence is compound or complex. But this is easy to understand only in the case if the sentence is having only two clauses. If there are 3 or 4 clauses in a sentence, so you have to understand that whether they all are independent or dependent. One is that, in that manner you have to understand it. Clear? So let's check our knowledge that had we understood the concept properly or not. So, what is the way to understand it? We need to go for practice. We need to solve the exercise. So, here is your exercise. Learn the way ma'am is solving it or trying to find out whether the sentence is a simple sentence or a compound or a complex. My first sentence is it being foggy. The flight had to be cancelled. How many finite verbs are there? Being is your finite verb? No, not finite. Had to. Had. Had is your finite verb. Cancelled again is your non finite verb. Okay? So, um, it being foggy, the flight had to be cancelled, and the sentence is having only one finite verb. So, what type of sentence is this? Only one finite verb means one clause only. So, it is a simple sentence. Okay? Now, he will study biology for he wants to be a doctor. This sentence is repeated. Okay, no problem. He will study biology. So find out the number of finite verb. My first verb is will and the second is wants. Okay, and the sentence is having more than one finite verb, means more than one clauses. Simple to nahi hai. This is not simple. Then let's find out it is compound or complex. So he will study biology. Complete its meaning. He wants to be a doctor. This is also complete its meaning, and they are joined by the conjunction for. For is children a coordinating conjunction. Okay, so this is two independent clauses are present in the sentence. What type of sentence is this? It is a compound sentence. Yes. Now look at the third one. You have to apologize to avoid punishment. Find out, just look at the finite verb. What is the finite verb here? Have. 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 To apologize and to avoid. They both are non-finite verbs. So this sentence has only one finite verb. So what type of sentence is this? It is a simple sentence. Very good. Look at the fourth one. The man who is wearing a black belt is a great judo player. This man, here the subject has been skipped in the second clause, like the man who is wearing the black belt is a great judo player. Okay, two clauses are there, and who is wearing a black belt? The man who is wearing a black belt. This sentence structure is not complete its meaning. You can get the intuition that yes, some more information needs to be provided, needs to be known. Okay, so is a great judo player, that is my main clause, and this first is your dependent clause, the subordinate clause. So what type of sentence is this? One independent clause, the other is dependent clause. So it is a complex sentence. A moment, a lost moment is lost forever. A lost moment is lost forever. What type of sentence? Find out the number of finites. Is your finite verb, and the sentence is having only one finite. So what type of sentence is this? Simple sentence. Look at the sixth sentence. A moment that is lost forever. Here one simple sentence means by making little amendments to this simple sentence, a new sentence is prepared. And that could be a compound or complex, because the simple sentence we have identified. A moment that is lost forever. Here two clauses are present. Find out their type. A moment that is lost. This is a dependent clause because that is has a, a sense that yes, something is missing. That is lost. Is lost forever. This is a main clause. This is my main clause. So one dependent, one independent. So it is a complex sentence. Number 7, he suffered losses for he was inexperienced. He suffered losses. Clear its meaning. He was inexperienced. This is also complete its meaning. Two clauses having complete sense means both are coordinating clauses. Coordinate clauses means this is a compound sentence because both the clauses are independent. Next, he suffered losses on account of being inexperienced. He suffered losses. This is the clause, and suffered is my finite verb on account of being inexperienced. This part of the sentence doesn't have any finite verb. It has only one finite. What is that? Suffered. Being is your, of being is your non-finite. So as the sentence is having only one finite verb. So what type of sentence it is? It is a simple sentence. So let's conclude the whole class, what you have revised today. At first we have revised the clauses. What is a clause? A clause is a group of words that has a subject and a finite verb, and it makes its complete sense. After that we studied the types of clauses, means the independent clauses or coordinate clauses and dependent clauses or subordinated clauses. After that we studied that a sentence may be made up of one or more clauses. Like as I told you, if the number of clauses present in a sentence decide that whether it is a simple sentence, compound sentence or complex sentence. One clause hai simple sentence, more than two clauses are there and both are independent clauses, compound sentence. If one clause is independent and the other are dependent, so that is a complex sentence. So to understand this, you have to study how to identify the type of clauses. So once again you have to revise the verbs, its types, under that finite and non-finite, and then you will learn the coordinating conjunctions, because coordinating conjunctions help in joining the independent clauses only, means they are used in a compound sentence only. Then we have learned that what is a simple sentence. A simple sentence is made up of one subject and one finite verb. What is a compound sentence? A compound sentence is made up of two or more independent clauses. And what is a complex sentence? A complex sentence is made up of one independent and one or more dependent or subordinate clauses. This is all about in today's class, children. You have to practice the exercises to clear your concept. Whatever you have learned, you have to revise that thing practically by solving the exercises in practice worksheet. Clear to everybody? Very good. So that's all for today's class. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.